let me ask you this. Do you go back and do you watch finalized episodes when they go live now of Bravest Warrior?
Yeah.
I do.
What is that like?
Is hard. Because you have a vision of like what you expect. And honestly, as a voice actor, it's very hard because you have like the script, but the way that you think it is not going to be the way that someone else thinks it is, not going to be the way the animator thinks it is. You know, and so like,
and you're not in the same room.
Oh no, because half of us are in Canada and half of us are down here because it's now a Canadian show, and so it's an interesting process, and so not that it's like good or bad, it's just not what you'd expect. So like I like to watch it and be like, oh, this is an interesting view. You know what I mean? Like this is an interesting, but like, you know, you start to dive into, it's like any show, like, you know, like, oh, well, they could have been, I'm just very hypercritical because it's mine. Of course. So, you know.
Well, since the last time you were here, you are now able to announce that you're writing on the show now.
Yes.
So what is that experience been like?
Oh man, so writing, first off, I cheated. So writing on Bravest Warriors is easy because I know everybody backways, forwards, and upside down. Like, I could close my eyes and you just say, go into the mall, and I will tell you everything that those characters would do at the mall. You say, okay, they just, you know, fell down a hole and someone cut their leg. Well, it's probably Danny who cut his leg because Danny's the one who the bad stuff always happens to. You know what I mean? And it would probably be to impress a girl, and so now there's a girl there. And if there's not a girl, it's definitely Plum, and if it's not Plum, it's Beth. So it's like, it's pretty, the show just like writes itself, for me at least. I wrote my episode in like 2 hours. I took a plane ride, and we went back and forth in the room about like locking down the story and like locking down what you wanted, but the actual like writing of it, so fast. I took it on a puddle jump from Portland to Los Angeles flight. It's like, oh, this is so much easier.
That's awesome. So is it so I'm guessing it's in season 4, the episode you wrote?
Yes.
Do you remember the name?
That Ain't Workin' is what it's called.
That Ain't Workin'.
That Ain't Workin', yeah. They were, I was like, I remember I walked into the room and I was like, I'm not doing a Danny episode. 10 minutes later, I'm doing a Danny episode. Yeah. No, but it's fun. It's fun. Writing on the show is a great time though. Like, I love everyone over at Frederator. Eric Homan is amazing. Benjamin Townsend, the show, the story editor over there right now, like / showrunner, is like, he's amazing. He like knows exactly what he wants, and he's very British, so it's very fun to just. I love British people. They're so great.
Well, hello there.
Hello there. Yeah.
Sharp wit, which the show has so much of.
Oh yeah.
It's very smart.
Yeah, I love how you said that. You know, for you, these characters are so well defined that they almost write themselves.
Yeah.
But so I was going to ask, when you go into an episode to write it, where does your inspiration for that episode come from? Is it like stuff that maybe happened to you in daily life, or like do you get like requests from producers saying, hey, we're looking for a Danny episode, or shit like that?
So essentially, like, they would say, hey, John, come at us with pitches. They'd say, come to like 5 to 7 pitches of what an episode could be, right? So like, they're like one line, like, you know, Danny, you know, loses all his dough and has to find a way to like make more money to do whatever, you know what I mean? Or like Danny, you know, or like the Bravest Warriors are at a halt when they confront their parents or something, you know what I mean? But really, it's just their grandparents in disguise. Like, it's just weird things that like, you just these like little like 1-sentence pitches, and they're like, oh, we like this one. We don't really like, this doesn't really make us feel anything. And then I don't know. I had all of these episodes. There was like one episode that like I pitched that like we'll probably still have, about 2 planets falling in love. And like, what does that do? And it was like, how do you show that? And
that
I figured it out.
Like jokes with the physics and everything too.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Oh yeah. I went deep. And I was like, but then we ended up landing on this one episode that the episode that like became mine, you know, and it was great. It turned out awesome. But that was like one of the ones that they were like, oh, this is an episode that we want on the show. Can we? You want to write this one? And I was like, yeah, I'll write that one too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no, and it turned out really great. Eric, everybody on board was like, John, I think everybody didn't expect me to be able to pull it off at first.
Well, granted, let's remind our listeners how you got the gig in the fucking first place.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know this story.
Is this the Australian voice?
Oh, yeah. Oh, goodness.
For all you could go back, and I highlighted that on a clip. You can go check it out on YouTube and listen to John talk about.
Please send that
yes,
to me. Yeah.
I will.
Oh man. Well, no. How I ended up getting on the writing team was on season 2, I walked in and I knew that we were going into a new season, and I walked in with a script in my hand, and I put it on the EP's desk, and I said, "Hey, I just want to let you know that I can also write." And I was like, "Take a look, not say anything, but when we come back, I know we're going to a new season. I want to be a part of it." And I like.
They're like one of those
slowly walked out of the bed, like without changing. I was like, I don't know how to do this. And then they sent me over to Boom Comics. They like, at the time there was only like one writer, and it was pretty like all like this one guy, Green Burns, who's also amazing. But so they sent over my stuff to Boom and said, hey, because they were doing Bravest Warriors comics, they're like, you need to have John write one of these comics because he's great and he would be a fantastic addition. And so they called me in, and they brought me in for a one shot of called Tales from the Hollow John, where basically they were getting a bunch of writers to like do stories about Hollow John misadventures or whatever. And I wrote one about Danny trying to rebuild his old childhood best friend, which was like a fish that had died. And it went out of control and became like Godzilla, because it just like everything in the Hollow John, like it became sentient and tried to break and be free. And they're like, oh God, if it becomes Wankership, it'll be a problem. And so they had to like kill it. And it was a fun thing. But that comic ended up doing so well. Loot Crate picked it up, which like pumped up the numbers to like 500,000 copies or something ridiculous.
Awesome.
And then I took and became like number 2 best-selling in the world as far as comics.
Of
May of 2015. And I was like,
congrats.
Whoa. So I took that and I was like, hey guys. And then like I started like making moves everywhere in the writers verse, because I was like, this is the time that I have something like tangible that I can be like, this is me, you know. But it was fun. And now it's just like doing it all the time. Now I'm like working on actual shows and like doing my own stuff and reanimating old franchises and like.
Skitbags Radio.